Air dominance was integral to Nazi Germany's military strategy. German fighter aircraft controlled European skies and shielded boots on the ground and armoured corps during the crucial months of early 1940 when German forces took control of much of Europe. German warplanes earned much attention by showing the Third Reich's military power. They could dazzle the regime's sympathisers and intimidate its opponents with the misinformation they wrote and produced. It is a credit to the skill and innovation of German aeronautic engineers during World War II that they produced so many swift, powerful, dependable and devastating aircraft. They innovated beyond the bounds of what was possible to create a new kind of airplane, fuselage and engine that had never been seen before. This resulted in German fighters during World War II that outperformed and outhandled any Allied warplane of the time. Nazi Germany's defeat meant very little has been written about the fantastic German fighter planes of World War II compared to the American fighters of the era. History, they say, is written by the victors. To help correct that wrong, this video will profile the top 10 German fighters of World War II. In 10th place, we have the Dornier Do-17. The Dornier Do-17 is an out-of-the-ordinary candidate for this piece, yet it meets these standards owing to its many impressive aspects. This plane was a twin-engine multi-role night fighter used by the Luftwaffe in the early stages of World War II before being phased by the more advanced Allied aircraft. Its slim fuselage had earned it the title Flying Pencil. The Do-17 is one of many early World War II German aircraft that served as a night fighter. Incredible speed made it painful to shoot down. It was faster than most Allied aircraft in production at the start of the war. Starting its military career in the Spanish Civil War, the Do-17 twin-tail served in the central Mediterranean, the Eastern Theatre and the Battle of Britain. Following World War II, the Luftwaffe put the Do-17 to use as a research plane, glider tug and instructor plane. Operators include the Bulgarian Air Force, which operated Yugoslav-built Dornier Do-17Ks alongside German-built models, the Finnish Air Force, Royal Yugoslav Air Force, Royal Hungarian Air Force and the Spanish Air Force. Number 9. Messerschmitt Me-163 Comet. Among German interceptors and planes is a rocket-powered Messerschmitt Me-163 Comet. Even though it had a combat record that was less than brilliant, it is considered one of the most significant German aircraft from World War II because of its innovative design. Multiple world records have been set by this aircraft, more than any other German plane from World War II. They include the world's first human-crewed aircraft to achieve a speed of over 1,000 km per hour during level flight, the first rocket-powered fighter to enter military service, and the only rocket-powered military aircraft to fly combat missions. For over a decade after the Me-163 established its marks, no other aircraft could match its speed. But there was a big problem with the plane that needed fixing. Its rocket fuel was exceedingly caustic and volatile, leading to the death or injury of numerous test and military pilots. Unfortunately, the plane was ineffective in its designated job as an interceptor, losing 10 of its own while bringing down nearly as many. Number 8, we have the Heinkel HE-162 Volksjäger. By 1943, Allied bombing had devastated most of the fighter squadrons of the Luftwaffe. The top brass in the German armed forces thus ordered the creation of a sophisticated single-engine jet fighter under the Emergency Fighter Program. The program's fundamental goal was to design a fighter that could outperform its Allied counterparts and stem Germany's staggering losses in aerial warfare. Heinkel's response to this need was the People's Fighter, or HE-162 Volksjäger, a sleek aircraft powered by a single BMW 003 axial flow turbojet engine at the rear of the fuselage behind the cockpit. The HE-162 introduced groundbreaking designs that still seem modern today. Engineers from Heinkel positioned the engine in the middle of the wing, and two angled vertical tail fins were used instead of the usual single fin to vent the jet's exhaust. Along with the ejection seats, other state-of-the-art features included a wind design that was placed high and swept ever so slightly. The HE-162 manufacturing process was kept basic to save costs and boost production. Admittedly, it was already too late in the war by the time the planes were ready to fly. After the HE-162 factory was hit by persistent Allied bombardment, the manufacturers were forced to relocate the assembly of the plane underground to avoid additional destruction. Only a few HE-162s were manufactured in Germany, and even fewer saw combat before the country's eventual collapse. Number 7. Messerschmitt Me-410 Hornis. The Messerschmitt Me-410 was initially envisioned as a Schnellbomber rapid bomber, but it turned out to be a heavy fighter, and was one of the greatest German aircraft during World War II. It was first called the Me-210, but handling problems forced many changes to the design. These changes were big enough that the plane needed a new name. With a longer fuselage than the Me-210, the Me-410 was a more formidable fighter. Aside from the addition of a more powerful twin Daimler-Benz DB603A engines, the Me-410 was also received new automated leading edge slats on the wings, increasing its payload capacity and allowing it to carry more bombs. It could also carry up to 2,200 pounds of bombs, making it a formidable bomber. The Me-410 saw extensive service on the eastern and western fronts and was used for various roles, including ground attack, escort and anti-shipping operations. Despite its improved capabilities, the Me-410 could not turn the tide of the war in Germany's favour, as it was heavily outnumbered by Allied aircraft. Number 6. Junkers Ju-88. The Junkers Ju-88 was a versatile twin-engine aircraft that could perform a wide range of missions. It is a Schnellbomber, also known as a fast bomber, which was one of the several types of World War II German aircraft which was meant to be quicker than competing Allied fighters, making it more difficult to intercept them. As one of the most adaptable World War II German aircraft, the Ju-88 was a deadly night fighter and a dive bomber. Despite setbacks during development, the Junkers Ju-88 went on to become an indispensable warplane for the Luftwaffe, contributing to the success of hundreds of missions. It was one of the most mass-produced German planes, with manufacturing beginning in 1936 and continuing until 1945. The Ju-88 has more variants developed than other twin-engine World War II German airplanes. It was a key component of the Luftwaffe's bombing campaigns, serving in both the Mediterranean and the Eastern Front. The Ju-88's versatility made it a valuable asset to the German military, and it was used in large numbers throughout the war. Despite its many successes, the Ju-88 was not without its weaknesses. Number 5. Focke-Wulf FW-190. One of the most influential German fighter aircraft of World War II was a Focke-Wulf FW-190. It was introduced in 1941 as a single-engine multi-role fighter and served as a mainstay of the Luftwaffe alongside the Messerschmitt Bf-109. Following its initial combat deployment in Eastern Europe, the FW-190 was determined to be superior against Allied aircraft. However, its low altitude capabilities stemmed from its underwhelming engine performance at higher altitudes. During its lengthy manufacturing cycle, the Focke-Wulf FW-190 produced many variations, notably the high-altitude, high-speed interceptor known as a Focke-Wulf TA-152. The FW-190 was one of the most flown German fighters of World War II due to its excellent handling, and like the Bf-109, several German pilot aces made numerous kills in the aircraft. Over 20,000 FW-190s were manufactured. Before American bombing strikes on FW-190 factories in Germany and Poland halted production, it was the second most mass-produced German fighter. Number 4. Heinkel HE-219 UHU. On paper, the Heinkel HE-219 UHU is one of the most German fighter planes and should have been a roaring success. The history of this German twin-engine night fighter, however, serves as a prime example of how political disputes and over-engineering lost Germany the war. The HE-219 was an advanced and well-built night fighter with multiple technical firsts. It has 2 ejector seats, a pressurized cabin for use at high altitudes, a tricycle landing gear with a rotating nose gear that folds up for more accessible storage, remotely operated FDSL-131 side-mounted guns, and a Liechtenstein SN2 advanced VHF band intercept radar. The development and manufacturing of the HE-219 UHU were impeded by the acrimonious rivalry between aircraft maker Ernst Heinkel, head of the German night fighter forces Josef Kammhuber, and Erhard Milch, who was in charge of aircraft production at the German Aviation Ministry RLM. The over-engineered plane added even more trouble to the already troubled manufacturing process. Although the HE-219 UHU made a strong entry into battle towards the end of World War II, it was not in service when its use would have been most useful. When the Allies launched their strategic night bombing onslaught, destroying German fortifications and industrial facilities, the HE-219 wasn't produced fast enough to successfully oppose Royal Air Force bombers, and by the time Germany started making more planes, it was too late for them to make a big difference in the war's outcome. Number 3. Messerschmitt Me-262 Schwalbe. Adolf Galland, who piloted a Messerschmitt Me-262 twin-engine jet fighter prototype in May of 1943, described the experience of flying the aircraft as if an angel were pushing on wings. But the planes, like the Yoo-hoo, were built too late and in too few quantities to change the course of World War II. Schwalbe was a top-secret project that used cutting-edge aviation technology for its time. Perhaps the most innovative aircraft design ever created and the greatest German fighter plane of World War II. Compared to Allied jet fighters, the Me-262 was faster and could carry more ammunition. The production of the Me-262 marked the beginning of the jet age. 5 years later, jet fighters were widespread, rendering piston-engine aircraft obsolete. The jet age was ushered in with the production of the Me-262. The Me-262 was a formidable opponent, and Allied pilots feared it. After the war, the Me-262 continued to be used by many countries, including the United States, where it was tested and evaluated as part of the development of future jet fighters. Number 2. Messerschmitt Bf-109. The Bf-109 served as the backbone of the Luftwaffe and is still used by other air forces, most notably Israel's, long after the advent of modern fighter planes. But its fundamental style dates back to the 1930s, and it is one of the 2 World War II German planes that flew combat missions throughout World War II. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 was built using a state-of-the-art all-metal monocoque design that helped decrease the aircraft's weight and the number of moving parts. Unlike post-war fighters, the Bf-109 also has a closed canopy to protect the pilot from the elements and a retractable undercarriage for better aerodynamics. Different iterations of the Bf-109 were developed to continue competing with the most advanced Allied fighters of the day. It could serve as an all-weather fighter, a ground attack plane, a fighter bomber, or reconnaissance aircraft. More than 33,000 units were produced, making the Bf-109 the most produced fighter plane of all time. Its massive output, however, had a sinister side. It was manufactured using slave labour in Nazi concentration camps. Number 1. Messerschmitt Bf-110. Destroyer, night fighter, fighter bomber, the twin-engine Messerschmitt Bf-110 is perhaps the most successful World War II German fighter bomber and one of the best German fighter planes of the era. The Bf-110 was a personal project of Hermann Göring, and the aircraft would remain in Luftwaffe service until the end of the war. The Bf-110 was particularly effective in standard military roles. It was most fearsome as a night fighter, a role which pilots consider the aircraft well suited. Fitted with airborne radar capable of targeting enemy aircraft within 200 meters away, the Bf-110 wreaked havoc among RAF bombers on nighttime bombing missions between 1940 and 1941. It was an important aircraft for the Luftwaffe, and its versatility and the effectiveness in multiple roles made it a valuable asset during World War II. Its contributions to the war effort will not be forgotten, and it remains a significant part of aviation history.